Nation, stand up. Please stand up. The Cover 3D Raider podcast here. Dwayne Douglas, Sean Oahu Raider, and Phil Jones, the NFL reporter extraordinaire. I mean, this guy is talking to everybody around the league. So you gotta give him some props here. And we had to have him on the show. Phil, how you doing today?
Hey man, how you doing? I'm doing great. Happy hump day, you guys.
That's right.
So if Raider Nation does not know where they can find you, and they are crazy if they don't, but where can they find you?
Man, you guys can find me on Twitter at Phil Jones NFL. I'm on Instagram, Phil Jones NFL as well. We now have the Unfiltered Truth page set up on Facebook. You guys can find that there, and also on Twitter.
All right, cool. So we're gonna jump right into this stuff with the Raiders here. Is there any way 77 comes back? Like, I mean, like there's no way he's coming back. Like they have with that cap hit, he doesn't play a lot. The workout videos seem like they're for other teams, not for the Raiders. What are your thoughts about Trent Brown and his possible return with the Raiders, or his trading or going to free agency? What are your thoughts?
I think the Raiders are going to bring him back, but if they can find a suitable trade partner looking for about maybe a second-round pick for Trent Brown, then it's going to happen. They're going to trade him. If not, they're going to keep him. Tom Cable would love to keep him. He sees that he's motivated, working out. He's lost weight. So you want to keep this guy. You knew that when he was out on the field, even if it was 5 games, he was effective. Derek Carr had, I'm safe over here. I don't have Young running in back of me. I don't have Trent. I don't have Brandon Parker blocking, but the guys managing to get around him at the last minute and coming after me. So you look at Trent Brown being there, and if he's healthy for an entire season, I mean, the sky's the limit. That's a big plus on that right side of the offensive line, especially, now that you've released Gabe Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. What realistic? I mean, like, I don't want to go like, JJ Watt's gone, so we can not talk about that anymore. But like, what realistic defensive free agents do you see that would really help this Raider team? Because there are some guys out there, and the purge has not. I said that DM about the purge. The free agent purge has started so slowly but surely, but it's coming because that cap number went down.
I think the Raiders are going to sit this one out with free agency. They're still looking to restructure a few contracts. They looked at how they went big with Littleton and Kwiatkowski. Resign, restructure what you have right now. I mean, I like David Irvin. I like Kendall Vickers. There's a possibility you could bring back Vic Beasley. I mean, everybody saw how he was with Tennessee. He wasn't that great, but who knows what Gus Bradley's going to get out of him. Mm-hmm. We have to look at what the players that we had last year, how are they going to do under Gus Bradley? Gus Bradley, you saw what he did with the Chargers. You saw what he did with the Legion of Boom. We had Paul Gunther that I have all the different ideals, the stunts that we can run, but I don't know how to teach and guide these guys. So you subtract that, and then you add the addition of Gus Bradley. I can give you discipline. I can teach you. I can put these guys in the right position to succeed. You never know. This defense, it could be good. They could be, I don't know, maybe ranked in the top 20. I'm not going to go and say they're going to be top 5, top 10 and be all sexy and crazy, but, they could be a team that they're good enough to get you to the playoffs.
And I think that's what they just need. If they can just continue to offensively to do what they got to do, then that seems like that would be the best route for them to go. As far as Gruden himself, do you think Gruden, the GM, will ever just just help Gruden, the head coach? Because I mean, we could talk about Mayock and all that stuff like that, all these draft rooms and everything like that, all the scouts, but we all know, I mean, you can't make breakfast in that building without John Gruden knowing or approving what you're eating. Yes, yes.
You know, I'm going to be real. You know, some people might not like the way I put this, but yes, you're right. It's Gruden the GM. You have folks that are going to say, well, Mike Mayock's the GM. No, Mike Mayock is the puppet. And when it comes down to draft time, Mike Mayock can do what he wants to do. But then Gruden's going to put his hands in the cookie jar and say, no, I want that. I want that.
Yep.
I mean, really, you go on to year 2 in Vegas. They're looking to add an additional, there's going to be 17 games this year. You can't go 8-8.
No.
You can't go 9-8. You have to look at this team at going maybe like 11-6 or maybe 12-5.
Yep.
They have to get to that if they're going to make the playoffs. If they cannot, well, you know, we got above 500, you guys, but, you know, we just didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. And everybody's running around like, yeah, we got an elite quarterback. We got a good defense, but you didn't make the playoffs. That's the problem. We talk all this stuff about John Gruden doing this, the quarterbacks this, that, and we have nothing to show for it.
Yep.
And that's the problem with this team. Really, that's the problem with everybody right now. Until I see playoffs, I don't want to hear nothing about Super Bowl. I want to hear about they made it to a wild card. Okay, good. Now let's get one step at a time. All right. We're getting somewhere. We see playoffs in Vegas. I tell you this, it'll calm everything down. Everybody be satisfied. Like, look, you know what? We got some playoffs. You know what? You won't have your car stands. You won't have the car violence. You won't have any of that. But he's saying the defense sucks.
Yes,
you won't have to hear any of that. So it would be calming. People won't be having high blood pressure in Raider Nation, or they won't be having any strokes. So it's one step at a time. If you really listen to some of the important details that Mike Mayock has said, you go back to 2019. He said they were not ready yet to go to that next level. 2020, he said they were not ready yet. And a lot of people blocked that out because they saw 6-4 and 6-3. Well, clearly you saw history repeated itself because you were not there. And it was on both sides. You couldn't finish in the red zone. You finished in 25th or 26th in the red zone?
I believe it was
efficiency.
24,
yes.
Around there, yeah. Around there.
You look at your defense. The defense was giving up plays in the final seconds. I can't overlook that, even though that
terrible.
I said what I said earlier. You can't give up that stuff. And you can tell right then and there, when you look at guys giving up certain things like that, they're not focusing at practice. Talk is cheap now. You got now where these guys are in Zoom meetings, like how we're sitting in Zoom right now. They can turn the camera off and go and do something else. And like, oh yeah, you know, sorry, coach, I had to go use the bathroom. Oh, hey, the kid was crying. I had to put her back down for a nap. Excuses, BS. You can't really see a player like how you saw on Hard Knocks. They sitting in the room and saying, look at the shit that you're doing right now. You're not putting the 400% effort. We're looking at film here. I'm looking at you right there, but we're trying to have a film session on Zoom. He's not looking at himself because he's going out because he don't want to hear it. He's in his feelings. He's sensitive. That's the problem with the generation now.
Yep.
Generation is sensitive and they can't stand criticism.
Well, and for the most part, I think there's just plenty of criticism to go around, and organizationally. And it's not just the big hitter. It's not just Mayock. It's not just Gruden. You know, you have ownership who put big commitments in to bring in Gruden. You have ownership that said, you know what, I'm going to be the first NFL owner to sign a Mike Mayock, a media guy, to be my GM. Like we're dipping into all these new pockets of things that have never proven to work in the past. But you know, the one constant common denominator of this franchise, you know, has been the franchise quarterback in Derek Carr. You know, the team has built around him. They've been steadfast to defend him, albeit for better or worse. But the defense, clearly, no matter where you stand in the spectrum of Carr and the organization, the defense has just been terrible, as you know, for the greater portion of my life before I had wrinkles around my eyes when I was a kid. So, and they're still terrible. So here I am, right? What do you think? You know, Gus Bradley's a nice hire, I guess, depending on how many people you talk to. What do you think, Phil? What is the greatest need on the defensive side? How many of those players that we already spent big money on, Littleton and Kwiatkowski and, you know, Joyner and Arnett and Mullen, and we already Max Crosby, we got like some players. How much of that can he salvage, and how much more does he need to pull that defense maybe around 20th in the NFL?
Well, I put it like this. Bon voyage to LaMarcus Joyner. I'm just going to get that out. Get that off my chest. He's got to go. I'm tired of seeing that angry midget off the edge, and he's getting burnt by Scotty Miller. Yeah. Really, Raiders should draft a free safety. They need help there. Go and turn Jonathan Abrams into that box safety.
Yes.
Let him come up to the line. Let him be the whole rah-rah guy like he wanted to be last year. And you look at what Bradley had with Derwin James. I'm not going to say that Abrams is going to be a Derwin James, but, you know, you can get something similar out of that.
Yeah.
You look at Max Crosby. Max Crosby as a pass rusher, you like him. But when it comes to run support, he's not the best. He's not the quickest off the edge.
No.
So he's a liability. When I was sitting on the Zoom call Monday with Mel Kiper Jr., you know, he said that the Raiders could look to go second, third, fourth round for another edge rusher. He was saying looking at the edge rusher from Oklahoma, or I prefer Osai from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's violent.
Yeah.
We need a little bit of violence and speed on that side. He feels that too hot in the first round where we're at, but who knows? We know John Gruden. If he doesn't get what he wants at 17, he's going to trade back, and he's going to try to get more picks.
That'd be great.
So getting a guy like Osai for that edge, have him for right now rotate with Max Crosby a little bit, I think that would be good. Not putting Max down, not like he's not good or anything, but
right.
The whole thing is I feel that he's more for our third down pass rushing needs.
Right. He's got a role, right? Like Max, we understand his role. He off the edge, in space, one-on-one. That's where he can do his work. But, you know, asking him to shut down the side of the field against the run game, that's not a skill set.
Another thing, he was playing about nearly 98% of the snaps.
Oh, yeah. Injured, too. Injured. Waiting surgery. He knew he needed surgery this offseason. Playing hurt. Yeah.
Like both wrist, arm, hand, he was just. So you look at that safety need, you need another edge rusher. What the Raiders have, what Gus Bradley has right now, he can salvage some things. I think they should go and re-sign Raekwon McMillan, because Gunther didn't know how to use him. But you saw McMillan late for run support, and you're like,
and that's what he's good at.
Why didn't we have this earlier?
Yep. especially in those games where sometimes we were getting pushed around in the front seven and we needed someone to come make tackles. He was on the sideline.
Now, this is where people are going to hate me right now. I know there's going to be people like,
don't ever hate, man.
How dare you? You don't know what you're talking about. Tanner Muse. Remember, he has the speed.
Hey,
we could see some sub package from him. Maybe playing like a certain linebacker safety role again. But you're gonna in Gus Bradley's defense, you're gonna need sideline to sideline speed. Tanner Muse has it.
Now that's a key there, because Tanner, I think, to a lot of people, looked like another one of those picks where they're bringing in like the high character guy, a guy that played some safety at Clemson, like situational hybrid safety. Didn't really have a position, kind of like Lynn Bowden, but but Tanner coming back, yeah, I welcome it. Like Monster Mash Ken isn't with us today, but he's got a Tanner Muse jersey. He might be the only person that owns one besides his girlfriend or whoever else in the family. But I'd welcome it. We want value out of those mid-round picks. We got it from Crosby. We didn't get it from Bowden. We're looking to get it from Brian Edwards, the wide receiver. But and Moreau was a nice mid-round pick by Mayock. Love it. But so hopefully we get that with Tanner. The other thing with Tanner is that there's another player that had a very good year, I thought, on a bad defense, albeit undrafted free agent, Reggie McKenzie pick. Nicholas Morrow looked good. Like, Gus has to either look at that film and say, Mayock, Gruden, I want him back. What do you feel Morrow's relationship is going to be entering free agency with some loyalty to Raiders, because he was an undrafted free agent and he got a chance there. Now he's playing well. He could play with Kwiatkowski and Littleton, and you're checking some boxes before the draft.
You look at him, I think maybe the Raiders like going and test the market, see what's out there. You don't like what you have, we'll look to have a deal on the table for you. If not, best of luck. But I think with Nicholas Morrow, like, he still had that limited role. I mean, you got to kind of look. The year before he was pretty good, but this year he went all out.
Yeah.
And it was a contract year.
That's true.
So if I'm the Raiders, if I do bring him back, it's got to be at least a 3-year deal. Maybe, I know he was making what? Vet? He was still like making that little vet minimum.
Yeah, and he's young too. Yeah.
He's probably making about what? Maybe 1.5 million, maybe 2 mil. At least I have to pay him about what? At least 6.5. With the role that he had, you look at the linebackers that you still have. They were running a little bit of the 2 linebacker situation, but I think they're going to go more like 3 linebackers. You also have Tanner Muse. You don't have to bring back Wilbur. You need to look what you have in Javin White too.
Yes, that's a good point.
You have speed. That's what I'm saying. You hear a lot of fans run around saying that this defense is trash. We don't have nothing. We need to go on and sign this, and this. To be honest, the Raiders really don't need to sign this, and this. Maybe they need to cut a few guys and then add a few other pieces just to fill in those gaps. But you just needed a better coach. You needed someone that can guide you and put you in the right position to where you can be that guy.
That's what I feel, because I'm looking at it like, if you really look at the defense, like it was very, very bad points per game and plays. Like, the number one thing I'm looking at, I actually believe in Arnett. I believe in Mullen. I believe in Abram, and you mentioned him comparison to Derwin James. For me, I look at Abram and I'm like, you be Brandon Browner that Gus Bradley had in Seattle. Be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm cool with the fact that he shouldn't be the single free high safety too often, if ever. He had to do that a lot last year because Eric Harris was terrible. We didn't have the people, whatever. But get me someone that can play free safety and get me a pass rush with 4 people. And I believe in Kwiatkowski, Littleton, Morrow, jabbing White on third downs.
Mhm.
I'm cool with, and Gus Bradley took this job. So he obviously knows, not just because I'm friends with Gruden, but he knows like I can make this work with my system. So hopefully that's what they can do. I just have one question for you, Phil, on the offensive side of the ball. I think what the biggest, strange hardship has been with Carr and the offense and Gruden saying, I want the best wide receiver core in football. They've tried everything. I mean, they let Crabtree go. They bring Jordy Nelson in. They trade for Martavis Bryant. They trade away Cooper. They draft 2 wide receivers this past year, first and third round, and Ruggs, and they get lucky, I guess, with Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar might be on his way out. What is your confidence level? I know Carr, like I always say, he peppers the ball around. He'll hit the fullback, he'll hit the tight end, he'll throw to the tackle eligible. Doesn't matter. Carr's just going to hit who's open, the conservative open read. What is your bearing on this team with, like, is Ruggs going to be inserted in that role, step up, and Edwards step up, Renfro is still reliable? Or is it, hey, we need to go out in free agency, and if we can't retain Aguilar, are the Raiders going to be a player for like a Galladay or another top wide receiver? How do you see wide receiver 1 playing out for the Raiders this offseason?
Whoo, buddy. All right, so there's some hope. There is some hope for Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders have went to try to get back in contact with him, see what they can work out. They're freeing up space right now with the salary cap, so we could have Aguilar back. Or you could look at getting Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson hasn't dropped a damn ball. Aguilar, I mean, he did.
Yeah.
A lot. When he started getting on a groove, a roll, and then he just started overthinking a little bit of things. I'm just like...
He had a couple, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you look at Allen Robinson as another big body receiver. You could have one outside. To be honest, how the Raiders should run it, if you get a guy like Allen Robinson, who I really just have my eyes set on,
right?
I don't know about Galladay. Galladay might end up getting re-signed with the Lions, or he could. I don't know.
Hard to know. They did. Sorry, I hate to interrupt, but they did sign Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, Tyrell Williams. Yes.
So maybe they're like, this is our Band-Aid, and Galladay we can't afford. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe Galladay ends up going to, I don't know, maybe Buffalo.
Ooh, with Diggs. Ooh, boy.
And then you can go on and put they still got Cole Beasley. Slide Cole Beasley right in that slot.
Yeah.
And
that's
the thing about the Raiders. If the Raiders can get a big body receiver, have Edwards on the other outside, put Ruggs in the slot, use them on the slot, and then you can rotate around.
Yeah.
Then add in like a bunch formation. You can probably take Edwards out and then have Renfro in.
Yep.
You can mix it up. I think they had that rotation going on early on, and then for some odd reason, it just fell apart. Yeah. Maybe because of injuries with Ruggs, and then Edwards had it, and then it just sent like this whole panic mode. And then Gruden's like, oh, I can't rely on this guy. I can't rely on Zay Jones. But
that's what it feels like to me.
Reliable.
Yeah.
So
that's what it feels like to me. And anyways, Waller is the wide receiver number 1. I mean, until somebody... He's wide receiver number 1. I don't care if he plays tight end. I don't care. But, it's just interesting to me because, they've invested so heavily continually and swapping so much at wide receiver. I think the only things I can check off, Hunter Renfro is a nice slot option. He's a possession wide receiver. He can move the chains. I'm sold on him. He has a good role, though. He's a role player. He's a Cole Beasley. He's a whoever else. I'm not trying just to compare him to white wide receivers, but he is that. He is that guy. But
you can't deny it.
It is whatever. But going on top of that, it's like Ruggs' speed and talent, and Brian Edwards, like Dwayne loved Edwards coming out in the draft. Like he was happy we got him in the top of third round. And I was less inordained to know much about him. And when I dug in and looked at the guy, I was like, yes, like this guy, he's not Allen Robinson, but physically he can do anything Allen Robinson could do. This guy's a freak, you know?
Exactly. And the thing about Brian Edwards, like the year before, I was looking at Deebo Samuel, and I just kept wondering, like, who's this other guy?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just sitting there watching my TV, like, stop, rewind. I'm looking at how he just snagged the ball out of the air. I'm like, oh my gosh, is he coming out this year? They said, no, he's coming out next year. I'm like, tell me more about this man. And before we got lucky with grabbing him. And he's look, the Raiders have the receivers. And you also got to look, the Raiders got Foster Moreau. They need to utilize him. You didn't utilize him in the.
Don't get me started on 87 because I love me some Foster Moreau and he was.
Help me!
Hey, well, maybe we just signed Kyle Rudolph for some more mentorship for Foster.
No more mentors. No
Another
more mentors
year
here with the
of
Raiders.
sitting on the sidelines watching older
mentors,
tight ends do less.
Oh my goodness, that'd be nuts. That's crazy. I feel. Listen, we could go all day. I appreciate all the work you do. It's entertaining to talk to you on the pod, and I definitely enjoy your work on Twitter and everything else, man. Take care. How bad is the snow in Maryland right now? Is it killing you or?
Oh no, man, like, we're good. There's no snow right now. We're looking at 50-degree weather.
Perfect. There you go.
We're gonna have a good spring.
There you go.
Oh man, I'm about to get this shot. So
there you go. There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna give everybody a heads up. From the way things are looking, if you're trying to go to games this year, you're gonna have to get a shot. If you're looking to travel and get on planes, you're gonna need a shot.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
right.
get it while you can. So there's gonna be a lot of great things going on in Vegas. Pepe Palooza.
Pepe Palooza, all that. I'm hoping one time I ever get out east. I'm trying to see the homie Malik down there in DC, but I know you're up there you're in Maryland. And
I'm over by DC too. I work in DC.
There you go. Well, then hopefully one time we can all eat a crab roll or whatever you guys eat out there in Maryland, and
good to go.
Do it up for sure, man.
I got a crab. I got a seafood spot, and there's a Cuban spot that we can all go to.
Whatever. We tear it up, man.
Yeah, do a little Cuban shuffle down there to go get some Cuban food. I like that. All right.
Bet.
We'll take care, Phil.
All right, y'all take care.
See you next time.
Take care, man.
Sure,